Everybody, this is Sim Nation. Oh my God, I almost said Sim Nation Books. That's old school. It is also Sim Nation Books, but yes, Books Nelson with the Having Bro Show, doing a deep dive on this Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. I am extraordinarily excited about this card because I have not seen a lot of people go into it, even though on almost everyone's tier list, he's rated at approximately, usually at worst, third best in the game. Right behind behind Kareem and whoever else people have. So let's get into it. What makes this guy so great? First of all, he's got a big character model for a 7-footer. You see his arms are clearly of the longer variety, so that's great. And I mean, this card is all over the place defensively. You can watch any stream where this card is played, and you just see he's running around like a crazy person. Now, before we get into it, I do, as you can see by the glowing feed here, I had a pair of Fear of Gods laying around, and I figure no better place to put it than a center I can't get rid of. So I put it on Hakeem Olajuwon to get that speed with the ball and ball handling up to par. So his ball handling on my Hakeem is an 86 ball control. If you don't put shoes on him, he's going to be an 83 ball control, which of course means he will only be able to speed boost in game with floor general or a coach, not in practice the way I'm doing it right now. Now, this having been said, this Hakeem card is super juiced, as well he should be, by the way, because he's one of the absolute greatest centers of all time. And you see here, he's just an excellent shooter. And I think with this card in particular, when his ratings aren't this high, I think his release, he's a bit of a full white monster. But when you juice his ratings and give him hot zones everywhere, it gets rid of that problem, and he becomes an elite catch and shoot player on top of everything else he can do. So now, when we say top three, there's going to be a bunch of things we can look at. So I need to give you guys my big man philosophy, which this will not be the last time you'll hear this because we're going to do a bunch of big man videos coming up soon. So here's the thing for me with the 5 positions specifically. I think, and also you see that speed is up to a 97 now, which is insane. Insane. He's going to be one of the most annoying characters ever. 98 strength, 92 vertical, long arms, block rating, just a cheese bucket. Okay, so long story short, I think the 5 spot, the most important thing you can do with the 5 is play passing lanes and hit the corner 3, play pick and roll defense, defend the interior. Range extender for me is less of a priority for a 5 because the 5 in almost any competitive game is going to primarily be spending time in the corner unless you specifically call for them for pick and pop, which you can also do with any other character on the floor, including your 4 spot, who's also going to most likely have gold or Hall of Fame brick wall. So there's actually no reason to bring your center out of the corner. You don't have to. So if there's a trade-off between range extender and a demon on defense, if the guy can hit in the corner, that's fine. Yeah, that's why Kareem is the best center in the game with a 75 3-ball from the corner. And Shaq, as great as he is, it's like, yeah, you can do things that a power forward or a small forward can do, but that's why I have small forwards and power forwards, right? Doesn't mean I'm saying Shaq's a bad card. I'm just saying that Shaq isn't as good in terms of that long-armed, all over the place defense as Kareem is. Now, is he better than Hakeem? I don't know. That's personal opinion. I think Kareem is definitely hands down the best at that play style. And then after that, you start talking about other cards. Now, here's the thing about Hakeem. He gives you a lot of what Kareem gives you, but he also gives you speed boosting and elite shooting, right? So, and when I say elite shooting, I mean like literally you should never miss a corner 3 with this card once you get his release down. So that having been said, let's look at his badges before we get too into it. Okay, so defense, I mean, he's going to have everything because, again, he's one of the greatest defensive players of all time, let alone centers. Playmaking, this is important. So let's see what he's bringing to the table. So, of course, Dream Shake, literally a badge named after him. You know you're in trouble when you have a badge named after you. Post spin, Hall of Fame quick first step. That is huge because you can definitely feel the difference between golden Hall of Fame quick first step. That's a difference you can feel a lot, which actually makes me a little less excited about the James Harden style build that I'm working on for Park, because knowing that I'm never going to get Hall of Fame quick first step is kind of a bummer. Let's see. Bailout, break starter. Bailout's actually another really good one. Needle thread is also a really good one. And low-key, flashy passer still underutilized by this community. Now, not seen here is handles for days. On a center, not the biggest deal in the world, particularly because Hakeem's style is not to be boogieing on you like that. He's not necessarily a point center, but he can play that role, and we're going to see how well he can play that role when we get into his 6. Shooting. I mean, he's looking good with the shooting. He's got Hall of Fame quick draw, Hall of Fame range extender. So this guy is I think he's the closest to the do-it-all center that we have in the game, where he can play point center, he can shoot from Hall of Fame limitless range, he can hit the corner 3, he can pick and roll defense. I do think Shaq is also in that category. It just seems, I don't know, in game, I feel like Shaq's character model just isn't like in that center category of being like the same size. I know he's not small. I'm not saying he's small, but you see this Hakeem, he just looks bigger. I've played against the Shaq, and like I said, when Shaq was in the game and Kareem wasn't in the game, I felt like a little bit of relief, because it was like, okay, Kareem's out of my face for a second. And I think this Hakeem Olajuwon is kind of in that category. All right, so let's get into it. So the shot, he does not have one of the best shots in the game, but as we said before, with the juiced ratings, you can definitely master this shot and hit it every time. Now, because he has an 86 ball control, he can't shoot off the peak. That's what that looks like. It is pretty slow, and I would say not really worth your time. Like that's, I don't know how much of that Hakeem's going to be doing, but you see there, he can shoot off the peak, he can shoot off the quick shot, and you can practice that shot and make it all the time because he has the skills to hit that shot regularly. And at his height, especially since people are going to really be looking to defend the paint against this character, that might be a shot that's available to you depending on the opponent you're playing. So I do think it's worth getting that shot, but I don't think that overall this is going to be like the main form of play with Hakeem Olajuwon. All right, so let's look at his leaners, which is very important for a post player. We'll just look at his leaners for now, but we will look at all of his post shots as well, because again, this is a card breakdown channel, not just a dribble channel. And Hakeem has a nice set of leaners. And as we see there, literally has a hot zone everywhere, which is huge, because once you get these shots down and you get those releases down, those hot zones are going to help that green window out a lot. Let me double check on that hot zone hunter. I'm 99% sure he has it, but just for the sake of thoroughness, there it is. Yeah, Hall of Fame hot zone hunter. So once you get this release down, at his height, again, with his speed, he's going to be good money. Now, I heard that this card feels a little sluggish. I'm curious if those people have a fear of God type shoe on, because he does not feel sluggish to me at all. Maybe they're comparing him directly to Shaq. I don't know, but you guys can see it on screen yourselves. I don't think he seems sluggish. All right, so there we go. Solid leaner, fairly straight up and down. He's got the nice looking, post leaners as well. And yeah, so his shot is solid. The most important thing about his shot, that he can make every catch and shoot shot, that's there. Let's look at his big man dribbles. Okay, so he has a really good between the legs and mediocre to bad behind the back, and not a good crossover either. But his between the legs is very fast. So we're going to check his half spin between the legs combo. I don't know if that's viable either. I don't know if that's real. Let's see his half spin behind the back, see if he cancels any animations. He does not, so that's not useful either. And we're going to look at his half spin crossover. Also not good. So off of the half spin, he's not really giving you much. Let's see his half spin hezzy. Okay, there we go. So he can half spin in and out. Boom, we found it. Oh, saved. So if you're doing half spin combos with Hakeem, go to the in and out, and you will definitely be able to get a little speed boost off of that. And that'll be yet another thing that makes him kind of glitchy. All right, so that's great right off the bat. We already have one thing that I'm sure a lot of people aren't looking into with his dribbles. Okay, so let's look at his hezzy. Look, most likely a big man hezzy. Yeah, he has a fairly standard big man hezzy, but he does flow out of it pretty quickly. I did notice that. Let's look at that off the size up. Yeah, so he does flow out of the big man hezzy kind of quickly. He has no pauses or stops. Some centers do. Off of that, let's see his regular size up. Okay, his size up is looking all right. And now, normally this isn't a priority, but on centers it is. We're going to look at the speed that he leaves his size up with the Hall of Fame quick first step. So I would say his is fine, but it's not lightning quick. I think Marvin Bagley and, believe it or not, Nicholas Claxton have a really fast size up explosion speed. Hakeem is not impressing me in that regard. It's not bad. It's just solid. Definitely not one of the fastest things you can do. But we're also going to check some explosions out of some more size up moves. His behind the back actually gives him a little. Okay, so he's much better off the behind the back than he is off of the size up. So somebody's been asking me like how to do these. This is just tapping up on the stick for me, but you can also tap left trigger. So I'm tapping left trigger now, and I'm tapping up on the stick now. They both do exactly the same thing. And that's your size up dribble. And with dribbling characters, you can speed boost out of that immediately. But this game is not that cut and dry. So some characters are just going to randomly be faster out of it than others. And that's why I check. That's why I do that on this channel, to go deep into it, to see what they have. So with Hakeem, off of his size up, he's okay. But off of his behind the back, he explodes a little faster. So I would say if you're looking, especially going the other way. So I would say if you're looking off of a standstill to explode with Hakeem, you might want to go with the behind the back, because he'll give you that extra little pop versus the size up. Although he gave me a good size up explosion that time. So maybe you just have to time it. That might be the thing too. You might just have to learn how to time that size up to get the best explosion out of it. We're going to check some more size up dribbles though. Okay, so his crossover is very nice. He explodes real quick out of the crossover. Oh, that's really fast. That's really fast out of the crossover. And let's look at that into the snatchback as well. I went the wrong way. Let's try it again. Okay, not bad off the snatchback. I'm going to look at that into the... oh, that's really nice. Whoa, that's nice for a big. And that into the double hop back. Good money. All right. So this Kareem can... Kareem, I'm going to do that all video. I've done that all my life. I've always mixed him and Kareem's names up. I apologize. This Hakeem can definitely boogie, as Ty Debo would say. He can definitely move. He can definitely groove. Because that snatchback into the double hop back right there on an opposing center, that is good money. I mean, honestly, on anybody, because opposing centers are going to generally be more sluggish, and opposing anything else are generally going to be too small. Generally, obviously, excepting characters like Bol Bol. But if somebody's got Bol Bol on you, you know what to do. You know what to do. That's for Bol Bol. This is one of my favorite cards in the game, but he's not equipped to defend Hakeem Olajuwon down in the post, if that's how people are playing. Yeah, you know what's funny? I literally almost put the Dame Lillards on him myself. The reason I didn't put the Dame Lillards on him was because they increased lateral quickness, and his lateral quickness was already at 94. And I was like, all right, I'd rather increase speed and speed with the ball than lateral quickness. So that was the only reason I did that. He said his full court double cross. I'll take a look at that, actually. You know what? And you remind me, I didn't look at his crossover behind the back. Okay, so he has the glitchy crossover behind the back as well. And I'm going to look at his double cross and his double behind the back, too. Let's go ahead and be thorough here. I'm going to have to look at that again. I'm not getting the good... full court double cross. There we go. Oh, okay, yeah. That's all right. I kind of like his crossover behind the back better for that for that use right there. And let's check his Hezi explosion as well. Oh yeah, he's real nice off the Hezi explosion. Yeah, this card, if you get into this card, he's explosive. If you just run around with him and you don't know how to use him, then he's not going to be explosive, because he has some dribbles that he doesn't explode well out of. And he has some dribbles that he explodes really well out of. So you really got to get into this card and know what you're trying to do with him. His between the legs is excellent off of the size up. His size up between the legs is phenomenal. Again, we're talking about a center here. He's not a guard. So he's not going to move exactly like a guard like some people do. But for a big who his third rated skill is dribbling, he's definitely bringing the thunder in that regard. All right. So we're going to look at some more of these dribbles here. Let's see. So let's look at his between the legs. Fairly standard stuff. He has the Steph Curry between the legs dribble, like most cards who can get an 86 ball control can do. So he's looking good in that regard. Let's see, size up explosion. Yeah, the only thing is, the one thing I would say about this card is he doesn't like to turn to the side, which makes it harder to misdirect with him, which is fine. Again, not his primary source of offense, but and when you are going to the basket, because he doesn't have the extreme suite of moves in terms of crossover between the legs and all that stuff, I think the dribble you really want to lean on once you've gotten towards running towards the basket is the in and out. The in and out, I think, is the unlocking dribble for Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, he's got an excellent step back, but once you get going, once you're like in a full steam ahead kind of thing, hit him with the in and out and you'll get a speed boost out of the character. And I think that changes the character almost entirely as an attacker of the rim. Because once he gets forward, look at that. Do you see that? So Hakeem is just an in and out monster. I would say this is one of those characters that you rely heavily on one move to unlock the rest of the build. Because if you don't use the in and out, I don't see any dribbles that he has. That's actually a really nice spin move. I don't see any other forward crossover style dribbles that he has that are going to keep his forward progress towards the basket. But if you lean on that in and out, you guys can see already, I haven't gone into his dunk package yet, but you can see here he has an elite dunk package because he dunks fast, but he also dunks really low in the sense that there's not a lot of time to get to that shot and block it. He puts the ball, except for that one, he puts the ball in the basket almost as quickly as possible, which is great. So having an elite move like that in and out to help you out is fantastic because you can branch from attacking the basket to one of these awesome dunk animations. And we're going to go into his dunk animations and figure out which ones are best so that you can kind of go from, attacking to finishing as fast as possible. But Hakeem is definitely that card to do that. I think this card, I'm not going to say he's underrated because he's considered top 3, but I think within his rating, I do think he has some potential left to unlock based on what I've seen people do with the card. Because this card can really boogie. He can really move. It's just that he doesn't have unlimited movement, right? All right. So yeah, his between the legs is really, like his standing between the legs here is actually really nice. Like he explodes out of that really, really quickly. And the thing about centers is people tend to sag off of them even when they can shoot. Partially because they don't have the fastest releases in the world, right? So you can catch up to a center if you see him start to pull up. You might be able to contest that, like if you're playing Shaq or Kareem or something, you might sag off, but when they sag off, they're not going to reach and get a steal off of this. And because he can explode out of it so quickly, snatch back city, pull up, and again, and if that's not enough room for you, snatch back, double hop, pull up, you're good money. And again, if they're on top of that, snatch back, and then I'm going the other way with the Hall of Fame quick first step. And one more time, same thing, if they're on top of that, snatch back, Hall of Fame quick first step, in and out, and you're even faster. All right? So that's really, really good stuff with Hakeem. I think that in and out, I'm not going to say he saved the card because the card doesn't need to dribble to be good. If the card just plays defense, dunks, gets the occasional post hook, and shoots from the corner, he's already still in the top centers of the game because he's so fast, his shooting ratings are so high, he's got a good build, all of that good stuff, right? He's got all of the badges you need. God forbid you have somebody who's not good at defending in the post. That's a free 2 points every time down court. He has all of that going for him. But the unexplored part of Hakeem's game from what I've seen, if you guys are watching somebody that's boogieing up and down the court with Hakeem, forgive me. But I haven't seen it. I think the unexplored part of his game is the fact that he can do a little bit more point center than people think. And the in and out is the key from what I'm seeing here because that dribble really speeds him up and launches him into different action. And particularly in something like triple threat, I think that makes this card much more annoying in something like triple threat because he's fast enough to defend anybody. With the fear of gods that I have on him, he's a 97 speed, right? And I think he has, what do you have, like a 94 lateral quickness? Let me double check that real quick. Where you at? It's only my 900th card video. Yeah. He has a 94 lateral quickness. You see there, he has an 82 speed with the ball, which isn't the fastest in the world, but it's still, he's a 7-foot center, right? So 82 is plenty for his role. And I think the key to unlocking Hakeem is really knowing which dribbles get him to explode quickly. And once you know which dribbles get him to explode quickly, this card moves way more glitchy than if you just do what works on every other character. So I guess that's going to cut it for his dribbling unless you guys wanted to see something else. But you can see here, this card moves very, very well. His momentum dribble is excellent, by the way. You guys have been seeing me do it a lot. See there, momentum, misdirection, step back. I mean, he's really fantastic, to be honest with you. So to be straight up with you, for me, the Kobe Bryant card is like a personal, sentimental thing because I'm a Kobe fan. And I do think the card is excellent. But in terms of like what I needed for my team, this is the starting center I feel like I needed. And I have Eddie Curry. I love Dino Raja. Obviously, you guys know I'm one of the biggest Dino Raja fans in the world. I came out here day one and told y'all he was a top 5 center in the game at worst. But this guy, I do feel like he's that next level. I do feel like he's in the conversation with Kareem and Shaq. And for the record, I think that Kareem is better than Wilt, and I think Shaq is better than Wilt. I think they're all in the S tier, so it's not like I'm not going to have a conversation. Somebody thinks that Wilt is as good, fine. I'm fine with it. If Wilt had a better shot animation, I might give it to you. But when I look at Wilt and I look at Dino and I look at the way Dino moves, a lot of people prefer Dino. I'm not saying Dino's hands down better, but I don't think that Dino's in the conversation with Kareem, and I would also say Shaq to that level because of, because they kind of have everything. That having been said, I'm still a huge fan of Dino Raja, and I will find a way to continue to play that card. I personally probably prefer Dino Raja to Eddie Curry, again, because of everything else I said. I would rather have Dino Raja's long arms than Eddie Curry's dribbling and range extender because of what I think the center role excels at. That having been said, Eddie Curry plays fantastic at the power forward, so, you find a way to use that card there as well. And the same goes for Shaq. That's the beauty of Shaq. You don't have to choose. Shaq, because of that range extender, he can play the 4 and you lose nothing having that monster at the 4. Whereas Hakeem, I think Hakeem is a true 5. He's a true center. He's going to do all of the center stuff. He can guard cards that are much taller than him because he has the wingspan and the badges and the ratings and all of that good stuff. And when it comes to offense, he really can do everything on offense. He just can't do everything in every way. You have to, similar to the Kobe card, you got to play Hakeem ball. You can't play, you can't come off of Dino Raja or Bobo or whoever to send, Shaq, and play that way with Hakeem. You got to figure out which dribbles work with Hakeem and use those and stay away from all of the stuff that makes him feel sluggish. All right. Yo, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate all the love in the chat. Okay. So what else do we need to look at? We need to look at post and we need to look at triple threat. So we'll do triple threat first, then we'll get post, and then we'll do layups and dunks. And there we go. There's that Hall of Fame quick first step. So this is another thing. When your center catches the ball on the perimeter, I know I don't need to tell most of you guys this, but it just needs to be said out loud. Like, the triple threat is like the best dribble move in the game when people are recovering off the dribble, because it is so ridiculously fast when you have Hall of Fame quick first step. Like, that Hall of Fame quick first step allowing you to explode like that is really, really sick. And with Hakeem, you see how fast he is. And so to be more detailed, and you see the range extender there as well, to combine that with that in and out, it's ridiculous. And also, and I'm actually going to test this out real quick, keep in mind, usually when you do the in and out, the left stick can change the direction of your character. So just because you see me doing the in and out going one way, doesn't mean that that's the only way you can go with the in and out. When you do the in and out, feel free to move your left stick in different directions, again, to change the glitchiness. And because he has all of the post fade stuff and all of the hot zones and everything, you can take that mid-range shot wide open if that's all your opponent's given to you. If you're playing an excellent opponent and they're shutting down the 3 and they're running you off the 3-point line and they're camping under the basket and they're doing that stuff, they're going to give up that open shot. And this character is going to hit that shot at such a high clip if you master it, that any way you have to open that up, you can basically say, no, I'm getting at least 2 points every possession no matter what, if you invest into the skill set of this character. As I continue to run through fantastic triple threat moves. Guys, this card is ridiculous. I'm just as happy about this card as Kobe, and I'm a much bigger personal fan of Kobe than Hakeem. Like, I like Hakeem Olajuwon, don't get me wrong. Like, he's, in terms of centers, he's probably the most fun center to watch for me personally, because he had everything. He had crossovers, he had Dream Shake, but still, he was still an African dude beating up on my Knicks. So it's like, there's part of me that's like, Hakeem. But as a my team player, I'm equally excited for this Hakeem as I am for Kobe, because I really do think he's that good. I think this card is a top card in the game. And I think if you're having trouble with this card, it really just is about more of a time investment into the skill set of this card, because I think there are very few cards that you can buy that will compete with this card. All right, so we're done with triple threat pretty much. I'll look at some more triple threat branch. Oh, that's a nice hezzy. Oh my God, this card is so smooth. Like, out of the way he's supposed to play, he's so good. So good. Look at, oh my God, this card is so good. All right, so we're gonna look at his post fades and all that stuff, which he should be really good on. Yes, excellent, obviously. Excellent. Great distance created on that. Look at his post hop. His post hop doesn't create the most distance, but that's not always a bad thing. All right, looking good there. We're going to look at his post spins as well, his post launches and post spins. So this is post launch, very quick out the post launch into that midi. That's absolutely gorgeous. His post spin, adequate speed, not the absolute fastest, but definitely good. Oh, by the way, I mentioned all those centers. I do have to mention Evolution David Robinson as well is also going to be in that conversation for absolutely elite fives. I have to play with the card to see like where he is, but I feel like he hung around so long that with the Evo, he's probably going to be here to stay for a while. That he's just that good. All right, so that's, and we'll look at his drop step. We're going to be thorough with this because this is a fantastic card. He requires a long grind, so I do kind of want you guys to see everything. But yeah, I genuinely think if, you know, I mean, everybody thinks he's an elite center, so like no news flash there. But I think he's an elite center that literally can do everything. He can play pick and pop. He can defend in every capacity you need a card to defend. Passing lanes, post, pick and roll. He's got you covered. Man to man. He's going to guard the dribblers like Bol. He gives up no advantages defensively. And offensively, I actually do think he can do a lot of some things and just over a little bit of everything. I would say a little bit of everything off the dribble, but I think because his momentum is so elite and because that in and out is so elite, I actually do think you can cook people with this card. The only thing is keep in mind, without handles for days, you can't go crazy with him. Honestly, if this card had handles for days, he'd be borderline broken. Like, he'd be borderline, he'd be in that Shaq category of just like, what are you doing right now? If he had that handles for days to that level. But as it is, I still think he's very, very good. But you're going to have to dribble, you know, you're going to have to limit your dribble moves to a couple of moves and make a decision. It's kind of how it should be, especially on centers. So I'm not mad at that at all as a person who still does like a sim style of play at heart. Yeah, this guy he's the bee's knees in the cat's pajamas. So let's look at those layup and dribble dunk animations. We're going to get you out of here. It's actually a really nice layup animation for a center. So that's right hand. We're going to go right hand, switch hands. Another nice layup. Oh, he's got a really good big man layup package too. Guys, this card is absolutely elite. He is the cream of the crop in my opinion. And keep in mind, I have Eddie Curry right here. I've played with and against most of the great centers in this league with the exception of David Robinson. Funny enough, because I wasn't playing that much when David was like at the king of the hill. And people had kind of moved on to Bam Adebayo and Anthony Davis when I did like start really getting in them streets. It says Euro. Actually, another nice, really animation. Check his cradle out. But I think this card can stand up next to anybody. You get this card and you have an S-class elite center in your lineup. And if you invest in the skills to get good with this card, I think you're good money. All right, let's check out those dunk animations and get you guys out of here. Hope you've been enjoying the content so far. Please like and subscribe if you have. So there we go. That's his. I actually did not like that dunk at all. That's the first dunk of his I've seen I didn't like. So that was a close dunk with the right hand. Okay, so that is a dunk you're probably not going to get a whole lot unless he's standing still, because if you're running, he's going to give you the baseline reverse dunks. So I would just say when you're triggering dunks with the right hand with Kareem, or with the ball hand with Hakeem, like I said, I'm going to do it. Make sure you're on the baseline when you go for those baseline dunks. If you're in this gray area right here, you might get a non-baseline dunk, and those have a gather on it. And if you're going for a baseline dunk, you're already going up with that hand. All right? So make sure you're on the baseline when you go for Hakeem's baseline dunks. He has elite baseline dunks, of course, because he's a center. So they have elite big man baseline power dunks. You see there a little Statue of Liberty. All right, so let's check his flashy. Yeah, it says Blake Griffin flashy dunk, looking good. Check his two-hander. And by the way, he has a very far dunk radius as well, which is another huge thing, because these cards, these centers that get a rebound and just run, now he has an 82 speed with ball with the shoe I have, but still, those cards that get the rebound and just like go, that's huge for them to have that big dunk radius, because they'll get into that speed boost animation for the dunks before somebody can like contest him. You know, yeah, he has the maximum dunk radius, both with the right hands and with the two-hander. I'll check his left-hander as well. We're gonna check his left-hand dunks real quick. I didn't check switch hand dunks. We will check those. Yeah, he has the maximum dunk radius, guys. So which is, again, I think it's actually more important on a point center than it is on anybody else. Because once a center starts their dunk animation, it's probably a GG. So the earliest they can get you to that point of GG, the better. And with Hakeem, when he rebounds the ball and is carrying it up court, as soon as you hit this three-point line, dunk the basketball, and you're good to go. And just learn which dunks you prefer based on where the opponent is playing you, right? So if the opponent is on your right side, on your left side here, and you go up with the right hand, he's going to give you that, and that's going to give you the crazy speed boost. Like, that's actually like an elite weapon for this card. So yeah, I mean, this card is just, I can't speak highly enough about the way this card feels. And what I've seen him do defensively makes me think this is, I mean, he's just as nearly as good as it gets. I would have to play with Kareem before like rating them against each other, so I'm not going to make any comparisons. Check out hop dunks. But I will say this is definitely as good of a center card as I have personally ever played with. The only caveat with this card is he has a lot of bad animations. The simple answer is just don't do them. Like, you're in control. You know what I mean? Like, just because a hard card has bad animations doesn't mean you have to trigger those animations. As long as they have a good animation that you can trigger instead of the bad animation, then it goes to you, the user, to say, all right, well, I have to make sure that on this card I'm avoiding this stuff because I don't want to turn him into a worse character by doing things that he's not good at, right? So, you know, in Street Fighter, Ryu has always had a kind of a rotten, you know, standing light kick. Good players never do that, right? Except for Street Fighter 5. But yeah, good players have never done that move, and it just is what it is. It's just not a good move to ever do. So same, you have to look at these cards the same way. If they have a move that's bad, don't do that move. And I think Hakeem, look at that hop dunk. That is crazy. I think Hakeem has enough great animations to keep you away from the bad animations and allow you to play him at an elite level. So there's switch hand dunks, and that'll be it for this video. So switch hand to the right hand. Not my favorite out of his dunk packages. It's not bad by any stretch, but I would definitely say his strong hand dunks and his two hand dunks and his flashy dunks are better. But right to left was absolutely one of the best possible dunks you could do because it sped you up. It triggered from very far away. It gave him almost kind of two speed ups. He gets a speed up at the start of the animation and he gets a speed up in the air, which is just crazy. The ball is high and out of the way, and there's no gather whatsoever. It's a one-footed jump dunk. So that is, honestly, that's like the best dunk in the game pretty much in terms of in-game dunks. That's the dunk you want to trigger to speed boost you ahead of your opponent, take away their block opportunities. So that was him switching hands from right to left. So if you're in a pinch and you're trying to get a dunk off with Hakeem, trigger that. And again, off of a speed boost, that's going to trigger very quickly. So as long as the game decides that you're speed boosting, which will happen, my recommendation would be the between the leg size up. You see how quickly he ran out of that? I'm just doing this over and over so you guys can see how fast this is when you trigger the proper animations with the card. You know what I mean? Like he flies into that. So if you see somebody using Hakeem and they're doing sluggish animations, really look at which animation they're doing to be that sluggish and modify your own gameplay to not be that sluggish. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I think that is going to finally wrap it up for Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. These are not card reviews, these are card breakdowns. So how good he is depends on your play style, your lineup, and all that other good stuff. But I do, for people who want to know, leave my personal opinion. And I would say my personal opinion is he is definitely one of the best cards in the game, hands down. Hands down. And if you guys look at my lineup, I don't have the most elite lineup in the world. Obviously, I'm missing like a T-Mac, and out of the tall point guards, I only have Hidu right now. But other than that, my lineup is pretty dang solid. This isn't like my elite lineup, by the way. Some of these cards are just to show you guys. But that having been said, you see here, there's not a bad card on this list. I have Manute Bol on here. Actually, I kind of like the Manute Bol card, I ain't gonna lie. But I have him here for the duo, for Bol Bol. I actually like the way Bol Bol is ridiculous with the duo, by the way. But you see here, I have a bunch of great cards here. And I'm telling you right now, this guy fits in with any great card I've ever played or seen in the game, in my personal opinion. Don't know if he'll track like that for you guys, but as a bonus, he's free. He is at the end of a long grind, but at the end of that long grind, you get 3 Galaxy, well 4 if you count Mullen, Galaxy Opals. And as far as that goes, I think outside of Kareem, you can't do much better specifically at the 5 spot. I think Shaq is fantastic, obviously. I think Wilt is great, Dino's great, Eddie Curry's great. But I would say, me personally, if I had to rate Hakeem, I would say I would prefer to use Hakeem over everybody except the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar card. And it's just because Jabbar is 7'2" and has go-go gadget arms, I would probably pick him ahead of Hakeem personally. But I'm not sure, though. I would have to play with the cards because I might be like, oh, man. But I missed the fact that with Hakeem, I can also pick and pop, and I can also speed boost. You know what I mean? Like, he can speed boost, and he does have Hall of Fame range extender. So it's up to you guys who you think is the best, but I think he's definitely in the mix. And that's going to cut it for this card breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for your support. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.